Hey, this is Billy from Billy Vega's Scale Model Garage. This is my Larry Griffith 1968 Dodge Hemi Dart. This is built from the Revelle kit. The wheels are off of the Revelle 66 Charger kit. The front suspension was modified. I actually done some work with the spindles to raise the car up in the front end. The car from the box has a rake to it that shouldn't be there. The actual car, here's a vintage photo showing where the car actually sits about level, and the kit just wasn't there. So like I said, modified the spindles, went with a bigger tire in the front also to get it as level as I could. The paint is House of Color Oriental Candy Blue over the Orion Silver base as they recommended. It was done with a spray can and rattle can, and it was polished out. Let's get the hood off of it. The hood, actually, I cut the pins out that was molded in it, because the actual car, if you look at it, actually only had the two pins or supports or whatever, to keep the scoop from blowing off. Originally, the car had no support pins, and they found out that after it got wound up, it actually ripped the scoop off the hood. So anyway, chassis detail. And I actually had a friend on one of the message boards help me out that actually had a Dart. And I would, if I would not knowing what the actual details of it, I would have actually done the emergency brake cables wrong. He sent me pictures of the actual car where both cables actually go to one side and tie into one, and so I was actually able to do that. Overspray fogged in on the chassis or whatever from the color. I actually made that sump for that oil pan. It seems a little excessive if you look at it, but if you actually go back to the photo of the real car, you can see it had a terrible sump. I mean, it was almost even with the bottom of the wheel lip. Then that's how I was able to judge mine on how to do it. It has the photo etch grill in it from the model car garage, and the actual grill shell was from Replicas of Miniatures of Maryland, so I didn't have to go through the tedious part of doing that, because man, that would have been a nightmare. The engine, fully wired, plumbed. I mean, everything is there that should be there. Throttle linkages, fuel lines, brake lines. It's got the ballast resistor there in the corner of the firewall in the correct position of where it's supposed to be. It's got the offset plate for the master cylinder, because on the real cars they had to offset the master cylinder in order for the engine to fit in the car. A little bit more on that engine. Those are resin carburetors. I don't remember exactly who they buy, painted, black washed or whatever. It seemed like all the Hemis had the tan caps. That's a replica miniature tan cap, and it seemed like it had the blue coils or whatever. And I done the valve covers in the black crinkle. They really didn't have any good reference pictures, or actually didn't have any reference pictures except for the restored version of this car, which had chrome. But to make a point on something, the restored version also had like 10-inch crackers on the rear, and the pair that had a narrowed rear end, which isn't right. If you go back to the vintage photo, it had the shallow wheels all around on it. And if you look closely, the original version of the car appeared to have a 3-point roll cage just with the hoop. And I had another picture of the interior, and this may be an early version of how they did it, but that's what I did on my model. Now I actually I done the 3-point roll cage, just like the car in the picture, and the car's done pretty well at the shows. You know, I build for pleasure as well as competition. Competition's a good motivator, I think. And something that I caught in the scale auto build up, and I'm glad they brought it up because I might have otherwise missed it, is that the kit is actually missing the line that comes down from the fender to the rocker panel. It actually stopped at the door. So by reading that article, I was able to go ahead and take my scriber and get that in there. And these cars originally had fiberglass front ends in real life, so there was no marker light in the front. And the marker light on the rear of this one is actually a billet piece that's no longer available. Whoops. And it's actually billet aluminum with a little red dot. I don't know if it was some kind of paint or whatever used there for the lens, but it looks real nice. Luckily I had bought a couple of sets of those. And anyway, like I said, this is my Larry Griffith Hemi Dart. It actually has the A100 seat in it. The original car, the vintage photos I have, only shows it with one seat. So that's what I did, and with the lap belt, and it actually has the belts on the interior for the pull-up plexiglass windows. And I had made the plate to do the radio delete version, and probably not going to be able to get into the interior to show you what I want to show you. There's actually a little helmet in there, and the shifter with the 4-speed shifter, and that little red ball you see was actually a separate lever they used for reverse. That's what the actual car from the photos I had was showing. And got a white helmet up in there because that's what Larry seems to be holding in the vintage photo. So I went in and put that in there too. Anyway, should mention too the decals were by Slicks, and they worked out very, very nicely. And like I said, the car's done really well. I'm proud of it. A lot of people seem to have liked it. And hope y'all enjoyed the video. It's Billy Vega, over and out.